watching Let's Chat.
If you are a young reader or just young at heart, you might want to check out the new book, Hummingbird. It is a novel by our next guest, who is a local author, Natalie Lloyd. Natalie, good morning. Good to have you here.
Good morning.
New York Times bestseller list. Wow, pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yes,
that was with
you.
your first book, Snicker of Magic.
That's right.
What happened when you got the call or you saw New York Times bestselling list? Me. What went through your head?
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I bet.
Writing had been my dream for so long. I think I was in 3rd grade when I said I wanted to be a writer, because I thought that's got to be the way you can climb inside a book and live there, which is what I loved about reading.
Sure.
It felt like you were part of this other world. So when the book did well, that was such an incredible thing. I was so grateful. And then when it hit the New York Times list, I was shocked and so excited.
And is that the point you knew you had, quote, made it?
Oh, you know, that was really exciting. I still don't quite feel like I've made it.
Right? Sure.
But I'm hopeful I get to keep doing this. I love telling stories.
And this is your, what, 6th or 7th book, Hummingbird, that we're here to talk about now. It is your 7th novel. And I did want to ask you, what's the best advice you've been given about writing in general and maybe about forming a novel since you've been doing this?
Oh, I've had so much good advice. One of my favorite pieces of advice actually came from my mom, and it's not about writing specifically, but she would always say, don't give up what you want in the moment for what you really want most of all. And I think in those moments of rejection, it was so easy for me to think about just giving it all up and not writing again. But if you really love to write, it's impossible to walk away from it.
And now it's easy for you to look back at those naysayers and laugh at them, because you're the one that's got all the novels under your belt, including a New York Times bestseller. Hummingbird, tell me about it. What's the overview of this?
Yeah, so Hummingbird is about a girl named Olive. She is 11 years old, and she is dying to go to the public school in her hometown, but her parents are hesitant because Olive has brittle bones.
Right.
So she finally talks them into it and goes, and it's a disaster, as 6th grade can sometimes be. But she hears a legend about a creature in the woods that grants wishes, and she decides she is going to find it and make her wish come true.
How did you come to put brittle bone disease in this particular book?
Oh, Olive and I have that in common. We have several things in common. Yes, we both love Dolly Parton,
right?
Animals, we love to read, and we both have brittle bones. So.
And apparently you set this particular novel in a city or a town very similar to what we have here in Chattanooga. How did you come to do that? Was that accidental, on purpose,
wasn't.
or a little bit of both?
I love quirky Tennessee towns. I grew up in a little Tennessee town called Oneida near Knoxville before I moved to Chattanooga.
Right.
And I love the culture we have here. I love the storytelling culture. I like the outdoorsy aspect of it. There are always woods and storms and wind in my books. All of those things in nature that make writing so much fun.
Tell me about the little bit of magic you seem to put in your books that a lot of other writers simply don't. Not that the books are bad, but they don't have that little helping that you seem to sprinkle liberally in your book. How do you come to do that?
Well, that's the kind of book I love to read. I grew up reading books by Roald Dahl, who wrote like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and the Witches. And some of my favorite things about those books is that the setting was in the real world, but there was always this magic that made the world more mysterious and helped the character figure out how brave they really were. So that's just fun for me to write. That's what I love to read.
What do you hope the takeaway from folks reading Hummingbird will be?
Oh, you know, for me, because my books are typically for 8 to 12-year-olds, even though adults can read them too and enjoy them.
Sure.
I'm always excited when readers have fun with it, when they stay up late. I always say my goal is to write a flashlight book. People want to stay up all night reading.
Right.
But especially for Hummingbird, I also hope that if there are young readers who feel a little bit left out, a little bit different because of their body, maybe they'll be encouraged when they read it to know they get to take up all the space they want in this world. And there's so many good days ahead of them, even when middle school's kind of tough.
Where can we get a copy of this and your other works?
Oh, thank you. They're all at the Book and Cover downtown, and they're all on online booksellers. You can find them on my website.
And what is your website? Give us that.
It is natalielloyd.com with 2 L's.
NatalieLloyd.com, and that is Lloyd with 2 L's.
Yes.
Natalie only has 1 L, right?
That's right.
Yeah, I figured as much. Yeah, check out the book and cover, 1310 Hanover Street, Amazon, all the other online retailers. It's been a pleasure meeting you, and we hope you write 6 more novels,
Oh, thank
4
you.
more, and come back and join us and talk about each and every one.
Thank you so much.
And we definitely want to see this one, Hummingbird, also on the New York Times bestseller.
Oh, thank you. Fingers
And
crossed.
I bet it'll get there. Natalie Lloyd, thank you so much again. Again, check out her website, natalielloyd.com, natalielloyd.com. We've got to run. We've got an action-packed show coming up today at 12 noon. Everyone's in office in Hamilton County now. The new office holders are in. We'll tell you all about it coming up today here at noon.